Hey everyone, it's Abby and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another Media Journal with Me episode, and today I am having some tea, and obviously this is voiceover Abby speaking. I'm having rooibos tea with my really nice new coffee cup that I'm super in love with. So for this particular Media Journal with Me, we're going to be tackling 2000s rom-coms. So here are some of the tools and materials that I'll be using. So first off, I have a sticker release paper. I will also be using pens from this Uni-Ball 1 set, which I will link down below. It's one of my favorite go-to gel pen sets at the moment. This one features a lot of my random stationery and tapes and stickers in case I will need accents. Usually for media journals, I don't use a lot of stickers, so you'll see that eventually as we do the journal pages. Next up, I have this zip case full of my washi tape samplers as well as new additions. So there's Kita tapes, these tape strips. They're really great for accents and I super love them for decorating my journal pages as well. Lastly, since I newly inked some of these pens, I thought I would use some of them for today's media journaling session, as well as my Pentel Touch pens and my new LAMY Safari in Cream pen, together with my Savanna Green, which is the 2021 edition. 2022 is the cream. So let's get started. I'm going to be doing 4 pages, but instead of doing 2 pages for one poster or one movie, I'm going to be doing 4. So if you recognize some of these, then make sure to keep watching so we can have a little chat about the films. So last month I was in the German countryside. I was staying with my good friend Ellen, and we decided to watch a rom-com every night, or every day rather. But before that, here are some of the pages from my current media journal. I will do an entire walkthrough maybe when I'm halfway through the journal. So anyway, yeah, I mentioned that we did watch a couple of rom-coms from the 2000s, and one of them is actually from 2019. So I wanted to journal about them because I realized that they have a lot of parallels. So for the first spread, we are doing Sweet Home Alabama and The Proposal. And before anything else, I always try to set up all of the decorations and like washies and stationery and stickers, because knowing me, I try to write a lot in my journals. That's always been the approach I've been doing. And so I also didn't want to overdo it with the design, because for some reason the 2000s movie posters have similar styles. You notice like the black and red, and like the girl in a black dress, and yeah, and a white poster, white background. So I find it interesting that that has been like the ongoing aesthetic for that time period. So anyway, I really liked Sweet Home Alabama. It was my first time watching it, and actually I discovered Avril Lavigne's song there entitled Falling Down. It's not even on Spotify, and it's a really great song, and I love Avril Lavigne. So the story is very much something I did not expect, but actually I appreciated, because it's something about being a small town girl, and she was from Alabama and then she moved to New York, and she had to go back because she was going to get married. And of course I won't spoil you with all the details, but it was a really nice portrayal. And there are some, when you watch 2000s rom-coms, there are certain quirks that make you think like, oh yeah, this is so vintage. Even not vintage, but like even their hairstyles and their outfits, and I really enjoyed that. It really felt like a time capsule, and so I give it a 3 out of 5 stars, which is pretty high considering my standards. And then next up, for The Proposal, this one I think I've watched maybe twice or thrice, but it wasn't something I always looked for when I would watch films, but it was nice to rewatch it and be more intent in watching it, because I didn't realize that there were also some parallels with Sweet Home Alabama. But I appreciated this thoroughly because there were some quirks of the protagonist that reminded me a bit of me, like being uptight and all that. So apart from that, this film was also so funny because it's an office setting, and it was like some sort of bribery that had to be done in order for them to get married, because they actually did not have an existing relationship prior to that. They were actually, I think the protagonist is a publisher or editor, and then Ryan Reynolds' character is like her assistant. So that was very interesting, and it was so funny. But eventually the resolution was really nice. Trying not to spoil because I don't really want to bring anything up. But yeah, I really like this film. It's a really nice, funny, and also lighthearted film that you can watch like over the weekend if you just want to have a good laugh. So this is the current spread. Didn't really want to go overboard with like the colors. Honestly, I didn't like how it was printed, but yeah, must be a printer issue. Now the second spread is a little ode to the queen of rom-coms, one of the queens of rom-coms. I realized that I really like Meg Ryan as well, but I haven't done a review over here. But this one I wanted to do specifically for J-Lo, because I used to watch Made in Manhattan. I really love that. But during the time with Ellen, we watched Monster-in-Law and Second Act. I watched Second Act already like 3 times, and I really like it. Monster-in-Law, I didn't really like it for some reason. Even like rewatching it, I feel like I zoned out most of the time. Side note, I've been really into this like blue and green color situation. So this spread was a favorite for that particular reason, because I had an excuse to use my pens that are blue and green, like my blue and green gel pens, as well as some of my fountain pens that are inked with blue and green inks. And I only had like I only have one blue sample, so I have to figure out how to, like, maybe I have to buy a blue ink. So if you have a blue fountain pen ink recommendation, do let me know. So on the left hand side, yes, we have Monster-in-Law. Let me see what I wrote from my notes. So yeah, this actually, I watched this very early on in my life, and then I just rewatched it again. And this actually made me realize how scary it is to get married, because of the stuff that you have to deal with. Like, oh, I didn't know you had to get along with your mother-in-law, and like you had to, be part of the family and be accepted and stuff like that. I mean, what was I thinking? I was probably like 14 or something. So yeah, but I did find the dynamic of J-Lo and Jane Fonda really good, as well as Wanda Sykes. She's so funny, and I think that really tied the film together. I don't really remember the guy, sorry, but it was a really nice, they're both really strong characters. But as I mentioned, I found myself not being so focused watching Monster-in-Law for some reason. Maybe because we were also journaling at the time, but I remember we also watched The Devil Wears Prada, but I was so intent on watching that. It's one of my favorite films of all time as well. So I think it really depends on the plot and the funny antics, I guess, if that is my basis for rom-coms. Honestly, the rom-coms that I always have watched and always rewatch are ones from, not from the 2000s, but like from the 90s. Like Nora Ephron ones are solid for me. I should do one soon about that. Like When Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail. Those are the kinds of films that I really appreciate. I think I also had a phase where some of my friends introduced me to John Hughes. But those aren't rom-coms. Those are more of like coming of age. Oh wow, I should do a coming of age one soon. But yeah, I've been thinking of how to share with you my media recommendations through media journaling. So hopefully after rom-coms, we will do other things like Disney movies or coming of age films, Wes Anderson films. If you have recommendations of films, TV shows, or books for me to consume, do leave them in the comments, because I always like exploring new things. Like last year I got into WandaVision. That's so rare for me, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but anyway, moving forward, back to the video. So this Second Act film is one of my favorites. It's actually also alternatively titled Manhattan Queen for some reason. So I think in German it's called Manhattan Queen. But yeah, I watched this maybe like thrice. I watched this on the plane before, and I really like this because it talks about female empowerment and career growth. And I super like how there was this bit about product development. Like she worked she ended up working for a multinational company, I think, and it was like there was a whole competition about it, and it was so interesting because I like seeing things like that portrayed on screen, like business stuff, right? So in hindsight, this didn't just feel like a rom-com, but it was also like a combination of rom-com and a bit of like business, and it was so nice to have that incorporated somehow. So this is me leaving my rating, and yeah, those are the films that I reviewed for this media journal with me. I plan to do this monthly, so if you have any recos, do leave them down below, as well as all the links and info about this video will also be in the description for you to check out. Well, thank you so much for watching and joining me on this little media journal adventure and indulging me with my fascination for books, TVs, films, and more, and media in general. So that's it for this video, and here are the final spreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!